Hi guys! So for our last lesson in our 1-point perspective unit, we're going to do something fun. It's an optical illusion. So we've been working on cityscapes and landscapes in 1-point perspective, but today we're going to use our knowledge of 1-point perspective to make some op art. Op art is short for optical illusion art. You're going to really like this. So we're going to jump right on in. Okay. So I'm going to do my paper this way because I've been working in landscape orientation a lot. So we're going to go this way. So for op art, what I want to do is instead of having a horizon line, instead I'm just going to start with a vanishing point in the center of my paper. Right there. But that's still a vanishing point. I just don't have a horizon line because I'm not drawing a landscape. So there's no need for my land to meet the sky. Then what I'm going to do is all around the vanishing point, I'm going to draw some different shapes. I can choose to do simple shapes, like a square. If you like to do bubble letters, you might want to do a bubble letter. So I'm going to do a bubble letter K for Kent. Actually, I'm going to do my whole name because I'm going to just really challenge myself over here. If you don't know how to do bubble letters, it's okay. You can just keep doing simple shapes. Could do some circles might be a little tricky, but I'll do one just so you can see it. Do some more squares. Maybe you can do a comic book style starburst or zigzag lines that all connect to each other. You can be totally creative with this. It's up to you. Once you have about 8 shapes or so, between 8 and 10 shapes, you don't want to do too many because it's going to get really complicated. You're going to want a handy dandy ruler. If you don't have a ruler, you could find even a piece of cardboard or something with a straight edge, or you can do this without a ruler, but it'll just be a little bit more tricky. But what you're going to do is you're going to find the corners of things. So I'm going to start with this square up here, and I'm going to start with the corner that's closest to the vanishing point. And I'm going to connect this corner to the vanishing point, just like that. Then I'm going to find the next closest corners, 1, 2, and I'm going to stop there because I want this to be solid, so I don't need to draw a line from this corner to the vanishing point. I can leave it just like that. Do you see how it looks like it's going back in space a little bit? So for something more complicated, I can do the same thing. Some of the closest corners, which are where my lines meet and change directions, I'm going to connect to my vanishing point. Oh, this is important. So do you see how this shape is more complicated? So if I'm going to cross, do you see how I'm about to cross it there? I want to stop. Stop at that line, just like that. Do you see how I stopped? It's going to happen here too. So I'm here, I'm going to cross it, and I'm going to stop. I'm here, I'm going to cross it, but I'm going to stop. That one, I won't even see the line. It's going to trace that exactly. So I can leave those two empty. For the circle, because it doesn't have a corner, I'm just going to use the edges of my circle. So I'm going to scooch my ruler up to the edge of the circle and go vanishing point to circle, stop. Vanishing point to edge of the circle, stop. Just like that. For this one, it's the same, just different directions. Like that. So any corner that I can connect to the vanishing point, I'm going to connect to the vanishing point. That one's actually a little funky because you barely see it. There's a little bit there. This shape, because it's going to try to overlap with the star, I'm just going to line my ruler up with the vanishing point and then stop. If I was doing this without a ruler, I can kind of think about tracing it with my eyes and going towards the vanishing point as best I can, and then stopping. A ruler or any kind of straight edge. You could even use like a cut up cereal box, something to kind of hold that line of vanishing point to the edge, go through, stop. Edge to vanishing point, stop. For my letters, that's going to be a little complicated, but I'm going to keep going. I'm going to go vanishing point to edge, stop. See how I stopped there? When you practice this a lot, you get to where you can kind of do it from your eye. Alright, so you can see that I've added 3D all over. Now, I could keep it all attached to the vanishing point, or if there were things that I wanted to cut off and not have go all the way back, I could. So I'm going to grab some markers. You could use crayons or colored pencils as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you something. So I'm going to circle, I'm going to start with this circle. Okay. I'm going to trace this. So this I'm going to keep connected. But watch this. I'm going to do some stripes. Now, do you see how I'm curving this like the side of my circle? If I curve it like that, it's going to help it look more three-dimensional. I can show you the same idea with this square up here. So if I'm even. Okay, I'm going to trace as best I can. You can use your ruler for this if you need to. But watch this. If I do a horizontal line and a vertical line, echoing the edge of that all the way down, horizontal, vertical, and then I can make stripes. Maybe I go in and then pick out. and connect it all the way. You can be creative with this. So you can find different ways of doing patterns. You can be creative with how you do this, but what you're creating is an optical illusion, and the color helps it pop out a little bit more and helps you differentiate between the shapes. I meant to alternate that. My bad. So part of becoming a better artist as you go along is understanding how, as you make your art, your plans may change. I wasn't planning on outlining this square in pink, but I realized that I kind of needed it to help it pop out. So I adjusted my plan to help my art be the best that it can be. Never be afraid of doing that. Notice with markers, if you go the same direction, it helps waste less ink instead of going back and forth. So remember, horizontal, vertical, horizontal, vertical, horizontal, echoing the edges like that can really help your optical illusion be more intense. Also, if you're drawing with markers, the direction of your lines can help too. Now I want to show you something. With my letters in just a minute. If I do the same idea as this stripe here, a parallel line, so vertical, horizontal, horizontal, this one's a diagonal, vertical, and I go through, I can erase these parts of the lines and leave it, and it's going to float, but it's still going to look 3D. It's just not going to be connected to that vanishing point, if that makes sense. So what that looks like, you might see it better in marker, is you get this comic book letter sort of effect of there being a shadow, or of this being so you can see how that helps it. Oh my goodness. How you can use that idea to make a three-dimensional effect. And then I can erase all of this. And maybe even add a couple more shapes around it that then connect like so. Like that. So I'm going to finish this up and then we will close up. Alright guys, so as you can see I've finished coloring. I may decide later to add some more shapes if I understand. If you had a hard time with this, I would recommend trying it with just squares and doing 1, 2, 3, 4 around the vanishing point, and then you can add from there. But the key idea is that you have your basic shape and then you connect the edges or corners of them to the vanishing point. So I hope you've enjoyed making this optical illusion. And again, practice makes perfect. So the more you practice, the better you get. Upload a picture to Canvas or attach it in an email to me so I can see how you're doing with this. And happy art making. Bye guys.